What would you think if I told you that motivation is a liar? What if the reason you haven't started is because you are listening to the wrong voice? We treat motivation like fuel, and we think we can't move until the tank is full. But motivation's more of a feeling, and feelings, they fluctuate. If you've ever said to yourself, "Oh, I'll do that when I feel ready," you have trusted a liar. And I know this because I ran all 6 of the World Marathon majors: the London Marathon, Chicago, Berlin, the Boston Marathon, New York City, and Tokyo, earning the 6-star medal for runners who complete all 6 of these races. And here is what I learned. Motivation had almost nothing to do with it. You don't have to be a marathoner to recognize this pattern. We go to bed on Sunday nights determined. We set the alarm. We lay out the clothes for the person that we hope to be in the morning. And then, beep, beep, beep. In that cold, dark room, that future version of ourselves, well, she has other plans. That moment, it's not weakness. It's misplaced trust. Motivation is an L-I-A-R. And it lies to you in 4 predictable ways. The L lies about timing. It says, you can start when you're ready. The I inflates emotions. You have to feel inspired before you begin. The A abandons consistency, shows up for excitement, disappears for discipline. And the R requires permission. Wait until it feels safe or until someone validates you. You don't have to feel like a leader to lead. You don't have to have permission to chase after your goals. In fact, if you wait, you are handing the liar the remote control to your life, and it's always going to change the channel when resistance shows up. I spent most of my career as a corporate sales executive. I had motivation. Deadlines create that. Commissions create that. But that kind of motivation, it's reactive. It spikes when something's at stake, but it disappears when the pressure lifts. It can drive performance, but it doesn't build an identity. Harvard researcher Teresa Amabile discovered that progress isn't made with inspiration. Progress is built in small, stackable wins. Psychology and health tells us that nearly 2/3 of our daily behavior is driven by habit, which means that your identity and habits aren't built when you feel ready or have inspiration. It happens when you act. And mine started with 30 seconds. 30 seconds sounds kind of insignificant, maybe even ridiculous. But I was standing on a treadmill one morning, embarrassed by how far I had drifted from myself, and overwhelmed by how far I needed to go to get back. It was not a peak performance morning. I had been out late the night before at a client meeting, the kind that ends with one more drink, one more story, and not enough sleep. I wasn't inspired. I wasn't ready, and I certainly wasn't motivated. The woman chasing big dreams at work and big goals was contemplating whether or not I could move for 30 seconds without stopping. And I thought, is this what we're calling progress now? 30 seconds? But another little thought crept in there that said, maybe you could just be better. Not perfect, just better. So before motivation had a chance to weigh in and before I could overthink it, I hit start on that treadmill. And I ran for 30 seconds. And something shifted. My belief. And then it clicked. Your brain doesn't believe your intentions. It believes your behavior. And behavior repeated builds identity. Over time, those 30 seconds became 45. And 45 seconds became a minute. And a minute became a routine. And just like that, 30 seconds changed the course of an entire life. Not because I was ready, but because I stopped listening to that liar. And that's how I found myself at the start line of the Berlin Marathon. It was a warm and sunny and beautiful day. 26.2 miles of a runner's worst nightmare. We like it cool and cloudy. At mile 10, I started to feel like that somebody was filling my legs with wet sand and then tying cinder blocks around my ankles for good measure. I could hear my feet thudding on the pavement. Every step heavy with negotiation. Do I keep going for another 16.2 more miles, or do I stop this torture? I started to panic. And the doubt crept in, and it said, maybe you're not strong enough. Maybe this is too hard for you. And it sounded rational, responsible even. Sports psychologists call this the perceived exertion, where your brain is trying to protect your body before your body fails. But athletes call this the wall. And in that moment, motivation had zero to offer me. But I had practiced something else. And so I started to run for 30 seconds and walk for 30 seconds, repeat. And that tiny pattern eventually became what I teach today, the 30-second shift, a simple way to take an overwhelming goal and break it down into small steps that you can do in 30 seconds right now. Those small decisions carried me the remaining 16.2 miles through the Brandenburg Gate and to the finish line of the Berlin Marathon. Spoiler, I did not win. But I finished. And I realized that our identities aren't formed in a breakthrough moment. They happen with accumulated momentum. You don't become confident and then act. You act and confidence follows. You start and your brain catches up. This isn't about running. It's about anything you're postponing. That book sitting half written, that business idea trapped in your notes app next to the grocery list, that difficult conversation you've been putting off. Tomorrow morning, the alarm will go off. And my question for you is, will you wait till you feel ready? Or will you stop listening to that liar?